You're listening to the AI Moment with me, Jonathan Wagstaff.
And me, Danny Denhard.
We're going to talk about a phrase that's been flying around a lot recently, Dan. I've seen it lots and lots in the last couple of weeks, and that phrase is AI slop. So the question we ask ourselves is, what is AI slop and why should anyone care? And I'm going to ask you to start to answer that question.
I get to define it. Great. So AI slop is essentially, the barrier to create content now is so low with AI. You can basically create endless amount of content. So whether that's video, images, text, etc. And people are calling content that is, let's call it low quality, as AI slop. So because the cost of production, the cost of scaling is so low, people are just literally pumping out anything that they can. And a lot of people, as we've discussed before, aren't really checking the quality barrier of it and just pump it out as if it's their own. I think, and the problem I find with a lot of content on the internet at the moment is it's kind of funny, especially the Sora 2 videos, but people haven't necessarily thought about the old model of good, better, best. At the moment, a lot of people are thinking good enough at the bottom of the pyramid, good, better, best, and greatest. Everyone's sort of lowered their quality bar down to just about good. So I don't know how you think about it, Jonathan, but that's definitely how I've talked it through. And companies are asking me, how would they quantify or qualify what slop is or isn't?
I think first of all, we without any kind of help from online tools, I think we are all getting very good at spotting this stuff very quickly. And the fear or the concern is, of course, that it erodes trust in all the other stuff. So in the same way, I mean, for me, the analogy is back when email was a new thing in the 90s. You know, it was a really, really great, useful tool. And then through the late 90s, early 2000s, there was so much spam. Everybody started just spamming email like mad. And there came a point where your inbox was almost unworkable because it was so full of rubbish. And then we started to get these spam management tools, and the main email vendors brought in tools to help us manage it. And we're kind of going through the same curve with AI slop, I think. I mean, I just see so much of this rubbish now on if you're looking through Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, any of those feeds, there's lots, and it's really poor quality. Usually, I mean, very, very often, very inaccurate. Even, pieces that look like they're thoughtful pieces about a subject are massively full of holes. So from a brand management, from a business point of view, it's back to what we've always said, Dan. When we were talking about AI outreach the other week, it's like this stuff risks really damaging your brand. So people have got to be very, very careful. And just because we can create lots of content quickly, and you and I both see these offers, we can create 20 pieces of content in 2 minutes using our new set of prompts we can give you here. That is not what's needed. What's needed, if you want to stand out, you've got to stand out by being authentic, and you've got to be transparent. You've got to show subject matter authority. Your sources got to be verifiable. And that's how you stand out from this wave of nonsense that's going.
The HubSpot approach is to create hundreds, if not thousands, of new landing pages to answer AI and LLM search queries. And they're not necessarily showing it to search engines. And it probably isn't something you're going to stumble upon in your social feed. So there's that side of ramping up the content that you're creating to answer problems. The other side of it is creating content just to fill up feeds and trying to make some sort of money from it. So we talked around clipping before, which is where people will take existing videos and clip up 20 to 60 to 90 second summaries or the best clips from it and then try and earn money from it. As you said, the brand risk side is high. And also, I think what a lot of companies are struggling with is how do they tell their teams that the quantity isn't the thing that they need, it's the quality that they need to ramp up with. And that's something I have had many conversations with, is everyone thinks AI is going to speed up content creation. It has, but just not in the value, not providing value. And something I've just put in one of the conference deck that I'm talking through on this Wednesday is volume to value. So how quickly can you create content for it to create value for your customers and for your company, versus just create it because you've got poorly set goals to hit. That might be something you encounter too, Jonathan, or might have been something in your conversations and workshops.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, I think the quality over quantity is the key issue. And one of the things I talk about in workshops, you're absolutely right, Dan, is I talk about two types of AI user as we go forward. I talk about AI sheep and AI lions. And I've heard other people talk about AI followers and AI leaders. And for me, at the moment, about 90% of the people out there that are using AI are AI sheep. And what they're doing is they're outsourcing all of their thinking to AI, taking what it gives them and pumping that out. And so you get the slop we just talked about. And for me, the real win is to be an AI lion, by which I mean you don't outsource your thinking to the AI. You use AI to help you sharpen and deepen your thinking. So you use it as a drafting assistant, not an autopilot. You use it to help you research and generate ideas and clarify, and then you refine and you add originality, and that's what goes out, as you said, high quality. I'd rather one high quality piece than 10 bits of slop. Right? I'm going to read the one high quality piece. I'm not going to read the slop. I'm going to watch the quality video. I'm not going to watch the slop. So for me, it's this idea: the AI lion is using the AI to augment what you do, not replace what you do. And I think there's going to be a game in the future. Businesses that commit to this stuff, they commit to thoughtful and transparent use of AI. They're going to build trust, they're going to build authority, and they're going to differentiate themselves. So that, for me, exactly to your point, quality over quantity, that's the key issue.
Something that I've done more specifically, just because of the audience that I have, and the way that I share conference presentations afterwards, or when I talk at companies, I often share more specific or generalized pieces of information. So going through my editorial process, I create lots of slides for my presentations. So because I have to keep someone's attention to go through it really quickly, but actually someone investing the time to go through and understand the slides is quite high friction if you're not there for some people. So I use Notebook LM to reduce that down, either highlight the most important slides or the most important topics that I use, and then create a video for those people who have become video natives and only consume content through video, and I'll share that. So very often I'll summarize it by audio or summarize it by video, and then offer people the different formats that they consume information on their preference. So I'm a visual and an oral learner, so I much prefer reading or seeing the deck and listen to it versus watching a video or always having to go through lots of slides. So to add to the quality bar, that's what I do after the presentations. I'm sure for an internal use case, if you've created a presentation or you've written a speech, it'd be great if you share that internally by editing it or sharing the most important takeaways. So what I tend to recommend to people is, if you want to reduce the slop level, something that you're super proud of, condense it down or share it internally into different formats. That's the way that you increase the quality bar and lead businesses forward. So that would be my recommendation, to be the anti-AI slop and to make it super useful to either your customers or your internal customers, which are your employees.
Couldn't agree more, Dan. So what's our TLDR to people on this one?
So just because you can create more and you've got the two Qs of quantity versus quality, always lean towards the quality. Understand that good enough content isn't good enough. Good is just about the barrier that you want to create. And if you do want to create more content, create in the fact that people will naturally follow you or interact with you on different platforms. So use AI to either summarize it or condense it down into slightly different formats, so it makes it super useful for your customers, and that reduces the barrier to entry, and often the strict nature of creating more content to share to more people. You don't have to broadcast the same thing anymore. You can create much better, shorter form content using AI now.
How about that? Good to see you, my friend, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks, Jonathan. Thanks for listening today, everyone. If you liked what you heard, please give us a rating and review in any of the podcast players. We have a supporting newsletter, which is aimoment.co.uk, that comes out on Mondays and Fridays with every pod, and we dive a little bit deeper. So please subscribe there. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon.